everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. I hope you're having a good week, and I appreciate you being here to share part of your Wednesday evening with me. Well, hi there, Tony. I just had a conversation with Julie about you, so I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. Well, I guess it's, I'm all mixed up, but on stage in November. So it should be a lot of fun. Who else is here tonight? Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Beth. Even in Ohio, it's a perfect summer evening too. Definitely my kind of weather. Warm days, cool nights. Hi, Jean. I believe you're the other person, right? Jean Hoffman, that I talked to Julie about, and I'll get to meet you also in November. That'll be a lot of fun. Janelle, I'm glad you like the Splendid Day class to go. Hi, Diane. All right, a couple of things before we start tonight's project. And I'll be making several cards tonight, so I hope you stick with me through the end because I have some great products to show you, and they're just going to be a lot of fun. And the cards are just kind of different, I'll say. First of all, I want to remind you that my Bewitching Class to Go is open for registration now. You'll make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 designs, and the class features the Bewitching bundle, which is the stamp set and this wonderful punch. And option 1 includes the bundle. Option 2 is just the card supplies without the bundle. And then I also have a PDF tutorial for sale for $15. And of course, if you join my Merry Stampers team, you get that PDF tutorial and all of my Class to Go PDF tutorials for free. So if you've ever considered joining Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator, whether it be just to get a great deal on some products, enjoy a discount, or if you want a little side gig to maybe supplement your income, or if you just want to build a business with Stampin' Up!, I'm happy to have you on my team, and that those free PDF tutorials are just one of the perks for joining my team, in addition to all of the other perks we get from Stampin' Up! Also, tomorrow, there's going to be a big announcement from me. It's not a Stampin' Up! Announcement, but it is from me. Tomorrow, I am celebrating 14 years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I have some something fun planned that I think you'll be interested in, and I will announce that tomorrow morning. So take a look at my blog tomorrow morning, my Facebook page, and I'll send out a newsletter, email newsletter as well. Oh, and I didn't say, if you aren't on my newsletter list and did not receive the emails about the Bewitching Class to Go, you can find that information on stampinpiece.com. And you can also, if you wish, choose to subscribe to my blog and or my newsletter. Those are the 2 main places where I put all of my information, especially the website / blog. It's sort of the catch-all for everything. Oh, Michelle, you're in a different place. Okay, nice. Enjoy your vacation. And I see Kathy and Vesta joined us. I'm so happy to see so many of you on. Hi, Mary Lou and Cheryl. Okay, wonderful. All right, I'm going to flip my camera around so we can get started on making tonight's cards. And while I'm doing that, please share this live video inviting others to join us for this evening's card making demonstration. Alrighty, is everybody having a good Wednesday? It's just, for me, it's just been constant work since early this morning, but it's all good. I'm getting a lot accomplished. So really productive day. And when this is over, I think I'm gonna enjoy a glass of wine and sit outside and just enjoy the nice weather here in Central Ohio. All right, today I'm going to be using a product that is new to our annual catalog, and it's called the Let's Celebrate embossing folders. And there's one in here for congratulations, and then there's one in here for happy birthday. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can make some quick cards with those. And I'm also using tonight the silver 12 by 12 specialty paper. And this is in our annual catalog, but it is one of the, 9 or 10 items that Stampin' Up! Has added to our list of freebies while celebration is going on. So you do want to take a look at that. Go to my online store, or you can go to stampinpeace.com and click shop now, and then go to celebration, and you'll see this added, the brushed metallic cardstock 12 by 12, gorgeous. We have some embossing folders there. What else? Craft boxes, but just some neat items that were pulled from the annual catalog that are now being offered as free celebration items for the month of August. So we have just about, 2 weeks left of celebration. So be sure and check that out and place your, or choose your free product when you place an order. All right, so let's get started here. What should I show you first? Okay. So I'm not going to show you the sample. We're going to make 2 cards right now, and I've got others planned for you as well. But with these, I'm going to make 1 congratulations and 1 birthday card. And on these dies, they have the words congratulations, yay, bravo, and other words in various languages throughout the world that also mean celebration. And being that I'm here in the US and we speak English, I'm using, I want my foil to be sure to include the whole word congratulations. Now, if you'd rather say bravo, you can scoot your paper over so it goes to the other end. This is about 6 inches long, but I've made mine 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So 3 1/4 is right for the width and the length. I'm doing 5 1/2 because that's the size I want for the for my card. I want it the same width as my card base. Oh, I just see a few more people jumping on, and I have to give a shout out to Sally. She and I live 10 minutes apart, and we've connected through Facebook. And today I got to meet Sally in person. She came over to borrow something, and We just sat on my porch for a little bit and talked. It was just really nice to get to know her a little bit better. Okay, when you are using the mini embossing folder or the large one, you're going to use a different sandwich or a set of plates from what we usually do for die cutting. Okay, with die cutting, we use plate number 1, and then we have the 2 clear plates. All right. For embossing folders, you're either going to use 3 or 4. Now, what you want to pay attention to with 3 and 4 is 3 is for standard embossing folders, and number 4 is for the 3D embossing folders. So if you have the label to your embossing folders, you can see right up here. If it's not a 3D, if it's standard, it'll just say embossing folder. If it is a 3D embossing folder, you will see 3D printed right there with the name, okay? And if you're one to not keep these, because I used to never keep them, but now I kind of do. But if you don't have this, just check in our annual catalog or whichever catalog. These come from the annual catalog, but even the mini catalogs will tell you if a embossing folder is standard or 3D. All right, if you don't see 3D, it's a standard one. So for this one, I need plates 1 and 3. So I've inserted my silver specialty foil into the congratulations or bravo embossing folder, and I'm using plates 1 and 3. And the same holds true for the large embossing, die cutting and embossing machine. And look how gorgeous this is. The detail on here is so good. I wish I could read the other words or speak the other words in the different languages, but I just love how crisp and clean all of the letters and all of the fonts are. And now I'm going to, here it is. Now I'm going to use the happy birthday one. And again, these are in different languages, and I want to position my paper so that I get all of the happy birthday in. I don't want to cut it off. So plates 1 and plate 3. Very, very important thing to remember when using embossing folders. You always, always, always want the folded end to go into the machine first. You want the folded end to go through the rollers, the machine first. If you don't do that, it can actually break at that fold, and you just cannot get a nice, crisp embossing impression when they're not folded. You would think it would work, but it really doesn't. And I can tell you that from experience. All right, so look at that. Again, really nice, crisp, clean lettering. Let's set this down here for a moment. And let's make a couple of cards. So I'm just using basic white thick cardstock for my card bases. And wait till you see how pretty this card is, but they're super easy, super easy. Then I'm just going to adhere my embossed foils to the center of the card base. And I know what you're thinking, well, Mary, that's super plain. I get it. But wait till you see what I do on the next step. And honestly, if you wanted to do a card just like this, I think it's fine. add maybe a little bow or a small tag or some embellishments, there is nothing wrong with that. Oops, I got that a little higher instead of centered. Check this one. That one's a little high, not as high as the other one was. Okay, that's better. Now I'm going to use a new product from our July to December mini catalog. And this is the 4-color washi tape. All right, this is featured with the Halloween products, but I'm going to use the black. Of course, we have black and then 3 other fun colors as well. Pumpkin pie, what would this be? Let me look. I believe it's Highland Heather, and then like a, oh, what's the new one called? What's it called? Parakeet Party, all right? But I'm going to use the black one because I think this is just going to make for a really classy card. And all I'm going to do is adhere my washi tape above and below my embossed foil. Now, one thing I will say too, they call this silver specialty paper. In my opinion, I see 1 silver and I see 2 that are more purple to me. Yes, Marion, you put in the fold of your embossing folder first, because if you don't, it will break the fold of the embossing folder, and you'll end up with 2 pieces. And then you can still try it in your embossing folder or in your embossing die cutting machine, but the embossed impression is not nearly as good. All right. And it's uneven. You don't get the same pressure throughout it. But just so you know it is called silver embossing folder, but I am seeing more of a plum color in these. I see 1 silver and then the 2 plum colors, and they each have a little bit different texture. This is shiny, and you can see like it's a brushed metallic. This one is a matte finish, and then this one is also shiny, but it has heavier brushed lines through it. So I just didn't want anybody to order that and be like, wait a second, Mary, you said this was silver. That's what it's called. But in my opinion, 2 of those don't look real silver to me. And I just tear this off, especially if I'm making several. I just tear my washi tape. And then I will trim the ends all at the same time with my paper snips. The nice thing about the washi tape, while it's sticky, it's not terribly sticky. So you can play around with it a little bit if you need to lift it up so that you need to straighten it out or change your spacing, whatever, you can do that. We haven't sold any washi tape for a long time, so I was super surprised and even kind of delighted to see it in the July to December catalog. And just because it's with the Halloween products does not mean it can only be used for Halloween. I can't wait to see all the different ways people use them, and for the different occasions, different color schemes, etc. So right here are my finished cards. Super, super simple. All right. But they have a touch of elegance and classiness to them. If you wanted to add a bow or a little something more, you can do that. But I love this look as is. So I'm going to leave mine that way. These are 2 of the cards I'll be giving away. All right, let's do something a little bit different this time. This time I'm using that darker or the darkest color. And once again, I'm going to emboss both of these. And I've got my plates 1 and 3. 3 being the one to use with the standard embossing folder, not 3D. These particular embossing folders are found in the annual catalog. So they are new as of May, right? Is that when yes, that's when our new catalog started. New annual catalog started. It's been a lot to keep track of. Whew. Lots of new fun products and yeah, just a lot to keep track of. And if I feel that way, I'm sure you might feel that way as well. Oh, I'm glad you all like those cards. And super easy, right? You could knock out those, a bunch of those, in no time at all. But they're really, as I said, what I think are quite classy looking. And they're sort of elegant, but they also have a touch of bold in them as well. Just super fun. Now, before I adhere these to the cards, and I am going to be using some vellum with these. Line my things up here. I want to put some ribbon around these. On the congratulations one, and I'm using this metallic mesh ribbon. So much fun. It came out last year. Oh, in the Christmas catalog with the Christmas products. But I use it for so much. Oh, and I also have to tell you a fun story about the metallic mesh that I love so much. I've used it with Halloween. I've used it with Christmas. So many different things. But my upline, Susie, and her husband and family have become good friends of my family. And we were actually neighbors when I lived in Mason in the Cincinnati area. But anyways, Susie and Denny were invited to Andrea and John's wedding in June, and I'm so glad they came. It was just so nice to have them. But they, well, Susie did a handmade gift, which I'll have to see if I can get a picture from it from Andrea. But anyways, she had the gift. I can't remember if it was white wrapping paper or a white box, but anyways, it was a white present, a white package. And then she went all the way around the big box, both directions, and tied a great big bow on the top with this silver mesh ribbon. It looked so pretty and so elegant. So yes, you can even use it for wrapping packages. Now, I put my bow like this and on the side because I want it to kind of frame out this congratulations that I see right here. Oh, Gian, thank you. Yes, 14 years. I'm excited. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And many of you know my story. The only reason I used to tell people I've joined to get the discount, and that's not even really true. I joined so Susie would quit asking me. And she pestered me I don't want to say pestered, because she was doing the right thing. I was spending a lot of money. It made sense for her to ask me to join and just get the discount. But it took me a year and a half to say yes. And gosh, if I knew then what I know now, this was one of the best decisions of my life. I love Stampin' Up! For so many reasons, but just because I can meet great people like Susie and so many of you on here and other things. But yeah, her wedding present wrapped in a white box wrapped in this was so very pretty. Now on this other one, I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm not going to make a bow, so I don't need quite as much. And I'm putting it on the right side because I want all of the happy birthday to show. Okay. Yes, Doris. So Doris that said that. Who said this? Shar. Yes, the mesh, when you use it on your cards and things, it goes through the mail very easily. So I love that about it. Then I'm going to cut 3 strips of this glittered organdy ribbon. It's basically white with some glitter. And I'm going to get ready to tie this knot. But before I tie the second part of it, I'm just going to lay these glittered organdy ribbon strips across where I'm going to have this knot tied. All right. Now it can be a little tricky holding that in place. That made me think, if you have somebody in the house, say, hey, I need your finger, come on over. But that made me think when I did first start stamping with Susie, before I was even a demonstrator, and I wasn't used to making bows so often, especially not on cards. So when I was doing it, I would always say to Emily, and she was about 9 at the time, I would say to my Emily, come on over here, I need your help. And she would come in and I'd say, okay, put your finger here and, leave it there until I say okay. So I was apparently doing it so much that one time I called, oops, I should tie that again. One time I called out, Emily, come here. I need your help. She said, do you need my finger again? So it cracked me up. Oh, Joan, that's a good idea. Use your tweezers. Yes. Especially if you have those craft tweezers, because they stay shut. They work the opposite of regular tweezers. And then I'm going to kind of spread out the ends of the silver mesh. And then and you can play with this, with these strips of ribbon. You can pull some. You can kind of twist them so they stick out different directions, that sort of thing. But I do like to go back in, and I don't worry about making them even. I think it looks kind of festive. If they don't look even, if maybe they're cut at different angles or some are a little longer than others, that sort of thing. So I'm not trying to make them look even, but I am trying to finish off the ends nicely. This one's a tad bit long too. Ow, and I just got my finger. All right, so now that I have this bow on here, I'm also going to add some vellum. So again, my specialty foil is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, fits exactly in the embossing folder. And then I made the vellum here 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2. 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. Oh, I want to move this knot over. You know, an easy way, if your knot or your bow is not exactly where you want it, you can just curve your paper a little bit and then slide it until you get it where you want it. Okay, now I've got it directly, the knot directly across from birthday there. So it's where I want it now. But a little trick, if your bow or your knot is not in exactly the right place for you, just curve that paper, roll that paper a little bit, and slide all of the ribbon. All right. And then we're just going to do the same thing. Put these on a basic white thick card base. Yes, Kathy, that new embossing toolkit, and we'll actually be using that for the next card, has wonderful craft tweezers in there. I just love them. And I'm so glad they thought to include that as part of the kit. All right, now I'm going to pop up these layers with dimensionals. And because usually I just use, a few as possible. But because I'm covering up such a large area, I am going to use more dimensionals than I normally would, just because the size lends itself to that. Again, I'm just putting this right in the center of my card front. So again, super easy, very limited number of products, no stamping. So if you have somebody that you want to introduce to card making and they might feel a little bit intimidated by stamping, they could make something like this as one of their first cards. Cut a few of these. And really very simple, right? Holly, I agree. The bow makes such a difference. Takes it up a notch, as Emerald would say, right? Now, the reason I wanted to pop these layers up on dimensionals is just because I wanted the vellum to be more noticeable. That's the only reason I popped that up. I just wanted that vellum to be a little more noticeable, okay? And I'll also be giving those 2 cards away. I thought of something else I wanted to say, and now it just escaped me. I don't know what that was. Oh, I remember. What I wanted to say is the vellum is actually from the vellum sheet. So we sell vellum 2 ways. We have the vellum sheets that come 8 1/2 by 11. And then we also have the package of vellum comes, I think you get 60 of these, and these are pre-cut, 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Most of them are plain vellum like this. but then you also get some printed ones, which can be kind of fun. A little bit challenging to come up with ways to use them. And I used them with, oh, what was the class I did? What was the name of that stamp set? It has the panda and koala and I want to say a fox in it. But I used these as part of that class, and it really made great cards. So that I wanted to point that out to you. There are two ways that we sell our vellum. Note, Kathy, that it's all, this package is, it's in the annual catalog, and I believe it's with the embellishments. I'm not 100% sure, but if you look up vellum in the index at the back, it will give you some page numbers for both the 8.5 by 11 vellum cardstock as well as the package of vellum. And it comes as 60 sheets. You get some of each of the printed ones, and then you get, I think it's 40 of the plain ones. And they're all pre-cut. I love them. All right, one final card, because as I was cleaning up, I realized I had quite a few scraps. And I thought, you know, I should just make a quick card with some of these scraps. See what I can do. So that's what I did. So again, I'm using the basic white thick cardstock. I like the thick basic white and the thick very vanilla for card bases. And then I have cut these, let me double check, 1.5 by 3.5, 1.5 by 3.5. And I'm just going to arrange them on this piece of vellum, 5 by 3 3/4. This is one of the pre-cut ones. And I can move these around any which way I want. Okay. I could use these for a horizontal or landscape card, or I can flip them to the portrait vertical position. Okay, so you get some versatility in there. And then I'm just going to adhere these to my vellum. When I have 3 strips that I need to get evenly spaced and centered on anything, I like to start with the outside pieces first, the left and the right side, because then I can easily get that middle one exactly in the center. Okay. And now I'm going to adhere this to my card front. Now remember, you can most often see adhesives through the vellum. So be sure that you're putting the adhesive where it will be hidden, not where it will be exposed. And most of the vellum here is covered up. One thing I want to point out, as you're working with these or any metallic papers, metallic cardstocks, you'll end up with fingerprints on them. When I finish off a card, I just take a soft cloth and just go over a little bit, and that takes away the fingerprints. So a little tip, you could even use like a microfiber cloth or the little cloth that comes with your eyeglasses, the cleaning cloth for your eyeglasses. That works great. You can buy like photo cloths, but you probably have things in your house that you can use. Yes, these would be great for the floating technique. I agree with you, Judy. And then we're going to add a sentiment from the Go-To Greeting stamp set. I'm going to make this a happy birthday card. This measures 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, I believe. And I'm going to stamp this. We're going to do a little embossing. Let me pull up my heat tool so it's ready when I need it. So this is the embossing toolkit, okay? It comes with the embossing buddy, which we use to take the static away from our paper. It comes with the craft tweezers. And, you know, I keep this with my toolkit, heat embossing toolkit. I keep it in here, but I use it for many other things. It's great when you're holding a small piece of cardstock that you're heat embossing, but it's also great for holding ribbons, picking up maybe little letters and placing them on your scrapbook pages, that sort of thing. It has a brush to help clean up the tray. And the wonderful thing about this tray is it's got this screw off bottom. And that is so that, and you'll see me use it, that is so that the excess embossing powder can easily be funneled back into this little container. Alrighty. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my embossing buddy. I'm just going to go over this piece of basic white cardstock to get rid of any static. Getting rid of the static means it minimizes like stray bits of embossing powder, right? You only want the embossing powder where you want it. You don't want all those stray flecks around. And then I'm going to emboss with the Versamark. I know mine's stained from way back years ago. Somebody was stamping with, went from a regular ink pad to this, but no worries, it still works. And you can buy refills for this. I need to pull this a little closer so I can look over the top of the cardstock and hopefully get it straight. That looks pretty good. So there. And now I'm ready to sprinkle my embossing powder on. I'm using silver. Probably no surprise there, right? And I tap it off. You can see I pulled that in from my finger. I think I had my thumb too close. So I'm just gonna very carefully sweep some of that away. And that, I think, looks pretty good. I had a few stray ones there. I also kind of like to flick the back of it. That helps get those stray ones off. And it looks like I missed an area here, so I'm just going to go back over that with the embossing powder. Really take a good look and make sure that you have enough embossing powder on there. Sometimes when there's something as detailed as this, it's easy for the embossing powder maybe not to take as well in a spot. Okay, so I'm going to now hold this with these wonderful craft tweezers. I see one more little bit here. Okay. Always move your embossing powder out of the way before you turn on that heat tool. Otherwise, you may be blowing that all over the place. And you know what? This isn't plugged in. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. I don't use my heat tool all the time, so I guess I unplugged it after the last time and did not think to plug it back in today. You can see the embossing powder begin to melt. It becomes shiny and wet looking. And just slowly go back over it to make sure you get all of it. Take a good look at it, make sure it looks shiny, glossy everywhere. That way you know you've hit every part of it with the heat tool. So I want to put this on my card, but I want to finish off these ends. And I'm actually going to use this new punch we have. This is in the holiday catalog, I should say the July to December catalog. And I just want to punch like a fancy end on the left and right sides. So I'm just slipping my cardstock in from the top on that one side. And you could go the other direction, but then I'd have to punch left-handed, and I'm not very good at using my left hand. So I just flip this around and put the other end in to the same side of the punch. And I'm just spacing based on looking at it. When you do this, you do want to pay attention to the spacing at the top and the bottom. All right, you don't want to have it off like that. So your spacing should be pretty even above and below your cardstock. Did you know too that you can just push lightly on your punch and it will hold your cardstock in place? So you can kind of let go and take a look before you actually push it all the way in and do the punching. So that's my fancy happy birthday. I'll pop this up with dimensionals. You probably knew I was going to say that, right? And now to finish off this card, I'm just going to add a couple of our basic rhinestones. Could also put 4 on, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you wanted to do it that way. I think both would look very nice. Or you could finish off with the silver mesh ribbon again, but we'll use the rhinestones just for something a little bit different. Again, I'm going to take my cloth and quickly wipe so that this looks all nice and free of fingerprints when I put it in the envelope. All right, so let's review in a moment, but I want to show you, and I didn't really use very much, but just to make a point, I'm going to pour some more embossing powder in here. I'm going to unscrew the funnel end and then just tip the tray And I just like to give it a few taps. That takes most of that embossing powder down. And then I use the brush to kind of clean it up a little bit more and get as much into the container as I can. So super easy, no mess, no fuss. So that, my friends, is the Heat Embossing Toolkit, okay? And that is, I want to say it's in the July to December catalog, just came out. But definitely something worth having, definitely something you will use again and again and again. Some people have more than one if they do a lot of heat embossing in different colors. I just have one, and I put the excess embossing powder back in the container each time, and so I only keep one, but I do know some people prefer to have more than one for their different colors of embossing powder. All right, so here's all the cards we made. What do you think? Do any of you have the Let's Celebrate embossing folders? Anybody have those? Or is maybe something you've overlooked? Anybody overlook these, not even notice these in the annual catalog? I always go through and see my, the bundles and the suites first, and then I have to go back through and take another look because I often miss things like this or embellishments. But these, I love these. We used to have another set with words. I believe it was thank you, and I don't remember. I'm not sure if those are still current or not. Nope, the other ones are retired, it looks like. But, yep, page 76. I need to highlight those so I don't buy it a second time. Anybody else do that with your catalog? Highlight when you, and honestly, it's better to highlight when you place your order. Because when the box, Stampin' Up! Box comes, I'm so excited about what's inside and I'm pulling it all out and everything. And I don't think at that time to highlight the products I bought in the catalog. So I've been trying to do it more as I order. Apparently that one I missed, didn't I? All right, I'm so glad you love all of these cards, and I will be giving away all of them. And Elizabeth, you highlight your catalog too. Yep, a few people didn't notice these. So I hope this is something you will consider using, whether it be these particular embossing folders or maybe some you already have or something new you noticed in the catalog that's on your wish list. But you can do these techniques with any of your embossing folders, really. I just like that they have the words on there, something a little bit different. Yes, they are elegant cards. Thank you. Judy, I'm glad you like that idea. All right, if you would like to, what did I do with my little, here it is. If you would like to have your name entered in the drawing to get one of these cards, please type in the comments, Let's Celebrate. That's the name of this embossing folder set, Let's Celebrate. Honestly, the highlighting of the products that you own is good, and it's the first thing I do when I get a new catalog, and then I try to keep up with it as I place orders. But the reason I started doing that was way back in the day, we had dies that were on a piece of wood and very thick, heavy, dense foam. And the whole die was about this thick. So they were expensive. And I had an alphabet set, whole alphabet set, over $100 product, maybe $125, something like that. I had it on my wish list so long, and every month I'd cross it out and put it on the next month's wish list. Well, I didn't mark my catalog, and here I ordered the same thing 2 months in a row. So, bummer. Somebody, another demonstrator, ended up buying the second set from me because she hadn't purchased them yet. But that was my lesson. Highlight your products that you own so you don't double up on them, right? You don't want to waste money. Okay, everyone, thank you for being a part of my evening. I appreciate the opportunity to share what I love to do with all of you. If you have any questions about what you saw tonight or anything Stampin' Up! Related, you are always free to message me, email me, whatever it may be, call me. I'm happy to help you at any time. If you are in need of a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to earn your business, and I'm happy to send you a complimentary catalog. All you have to do is message me your full name and your mailing address and email, and I can take care of that for you. All right, have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday at 2 p.m. Bye-bye, everybody.